down there for about 2 months, and I remember coming back thinking, God's not called me there because it's just way too hot. There's too many bugs, too many mosquitoes. So I'm never going to go there for sure. And I think it was actually that year I went down to Texas, started my lawn business, doing lawn care, landscaping, and tree work. And once the summer hit, then it was super hot, about 100 plus degrees for 3 months straight, and I wasn't used to that. And but through that, God was preparing me, showing me that you can make it through hot, difficult weather. You just got to pace yourself, or do most of your work in the morning, or do it in the evening. Stay away from the intense heat, And I saw, it's doable. And the area that I lived in, it was near the river, and it was infested with mosquitoes. And so it's just interesting. God showed me how you can deal with the heat and you can deal with the mosquitoes. And there's nothing that's too hard for God to help you through or deal with. And I remember after I was there, I thought, I could definitely go to the Amazon now that I've been in the Texas area where it's super hot. I could make it in the Amazon. But I still didn't think God was going to call me there until about a year later. Then I was still doing my business, doing lawns, landscaping and things. And I was working at a lumber place too. And I just felt like God impressed upon my heart, it's time to go into missions. And I was like, okay, well, Lord, where do I go? Because it seems like you've closed the doors here, closed the doors there. And 2 weeks later, my sister, she calls up and talks about how my brother-in-law was flying over the Amazon jungle area. Excuse me. And he counted 7 different tribes that, as far as he knows, nobody else has planted a church or presented them with the gospel or given them a Bible. And it's just like God pricked my heart right there, like saying, that's something you can do. That's something that there's a door that's open. That's something that you should look into. And so I started praying about that and had peace about that, decided to go on a survey trip down there. And this time I went down there, we went into the Amazon forest and got to visit several different tribes out there. Saw the need firsthand, saw the need for churches out there, and definitely felt like that's where God was leading me to go into missions. And so I started deputation now about 3 months. Yeah, 3 months. Started raising support 3 months ago. And right now, if all the churches come through, I'm at 40%. So that's a blessing. Praise the Lord for that. And hopefully within a year or so, then I'll go out there. First, I need to go to language school, so that's the first thing. I'm trying to learn Portuguese right now, but it's difficult being in America. You're not surrounded by it, and once you're surrounded by it, it's a lot easier to pick up. So go to language school first in São Paulo. There is a church there I'll be working with as well as I'm doing language school. Do that for 6 months to a year, and then go to Alta Floresta, work with my brother-in-law, and then work with him as well, going into the tribal areas to plant churches there, as well as working to plant churches in the smaller towns that are in the Amazon but outside the rainforest area. So, any questions? Yep.
Roughly size of the tribe?
It depends on which tribe. Some are maybe about 150. And then some are further out branches of those, which might be 20, might be 10, might be 15 or 30. But I'd say that, the big one's probably about 150. And then there's one uncontacted tribe that's neighboring one of the tribes we're going to be reaching out to. The uncontacted tribe, nobody knows their language. The natives that are neighboring them, they don't even know what they speak. And so that's something that, and they don't have, electricity. They have no contact with the outside world, nothing. And so that's something that's going to be challenging to go in there, befriend them, learn their language, and then reach them with Jesus. So, but something definitely.
Tribes speak Portuguese?
Most of them do. Yeah, most of them do, especially the younger people. Some of the older people are going to maybe understand a little bit of Portuguese, but speak their native language. But then as far as the uncontacted tribes, we don't know what they speak. It's an uncharted language. So, yeah.
How do these tribes dress?
The ones that have an open door to reach right now, just like shorts, t-shirt, flip-flops, or barefoot. Some of the kids won't have much clothes on. The uncontacted, we're not sure, but probably not much on for sure. But
How receptive are they to
You have to be. It seems like most of the tribes, you have to work to build a friendship before they'll listen to anything you have, because they've been a persecuted people. The Brazilians are super racist against them for whatever reason. Even up until 2014, they were enslaving some of those, and the gold miners and big farmers will come in and they'll kill them or shoo them off their land, fight with them and things, and so it's hard for them to trust any outsider. We went to one of the more rural, where they're all rural tribes, but a family was there that was more isolated, I guess, and they didn't even talk to us. They knew what we were saying. We were trying to talk to them and witness to them, and they just not a word, and because they don't trust us, they don't trust really any outsider. And I saw that when I first went there and were trying to befriend the younger men of the tribe. It was at first they just said maybe one or two words when I'd ask them questions, but once we had a meal with them, we played soccer with them and things like that, then I preached a message after that, and it seemed like it just softened their heart a little bit more, and they were friendly, thanking me for coming and that kind of thing. So you just got to work in that, show them love, show them you're friendly, and kind of work through those barriers. Yeah, so as far as like the Brazilian government is concerned, they say it's illegal for anybody to reach them, but there's some loopholes there. If the chief invites you, then it's legal. If you're going for medical work, then it's legal. Or if I think they allow like some foreigners coming in there on like a fishing trip or that kind of thing. So two things I'm praying about reaching them. Well, one, if we just get permission from the chief, that's what has been working so far. It was really a miracle that my brother-in-law was able to meet up with the chief in town and create a friendship with him, and then he invited him to come, and that opened doors to reach other tribes. But I'm going to praying about either getting my pilot's license or medical certificate that the Brazilian government approves, and that way I can come into other tribes and reach them. So
the government's pretty contact and communication with the tribe.
yeah, but the main thing you got to be worried about is the Catholics. They have a lot of power, and they don't want to see those people reached. And so the government, they're kind of just, they don't really care that much if you're helping them out, especially with medical things, because it saves them money. So if they can save money, they don't really care. But as far as the Catholics, they don't want to see them reached at all. So if they find out that we're reaching them, they'll get the local authorities to kick us out and prevent us from coming, even though what we're doing is legal. So that's the part we got to be careful about, not letting the Catholics find out what we're doing. So
Are these tribes Catholic?
some of them, it seems like it's a mix, because there has been Catholics that have come in there before, but they've merged their Spiritism worship with the Catholicism. So they might be some that claim they're Catholics, but then they'll have that Spiritism stuff, the witch doctor, those kinds of things like that. So there's probably a mix. And then the uncontacted tribes, that would be more witchcraft stuff, or we don't know. We haven't met them yet. So
What type of homes do these people live in?
the uncontacted, it'd be just like thatch huts type of deal. The ones that we're going to, some of them have thatch roofs and things, but mainly built out of like wood from the Amazon. Excuse me, wood, trees that they've cut down and milled there, or just like brick materials they can get from the river. Because there are sometimes boats that come up and down that'll do trading and things like that.
Will you live among those tribes, or will you be like in the city and back and forth?
Yeah, right.
What's your brother-in-law doing?
Right now he's flying in there.
Okay.
Every few weeks he'll fly in there, and so yeah, starting out at least we'll be doing that. And if God opens doors for me to live there permanently, I'll do that. I'll just kind of see how God leads. So, but yeah, yep.
How far does it take to get there?
If we go by boat, it's 3 days one way. If we go by plane, then it's about 4 to 6 hours. But then that's to the main tribe. So we'd have to land the plane at the main tribe and then go several hours or several days to the other tribes on boat. It's a dirt runway, and so we have to. Last time we landed on one of these runways, they don't get a lot of planes in there, and so the rains come in. They put ruts in the runway, and so we had to walk the runway, make sure there wasn't. Well, there was several ruts, and we had to make sure we avoid those when we take off. And when we landed, then I guess from the ruts, it made one of the brake lines break loose and spray brake fluid. And so thankfully that didn't happen where the tribe was, and that happened when we had landed back in town. So, but if something like that happens, you're just stuck there for several days till you can get some help. So, yep.
Explain to everyone the danger of reaching out to a new tribe that has not been touched by the outer world. Because I know I've heard other missionaries from New Tribe Missions and how they translate into different languages. But the danger that's there, I don't think people realize that when you're reaching out to. And I know the group has never been contacted. Can you explain that to everybody?
Yeah, it really depends on the tribe. In the northern part of the Amazon, there's more hostile tribes, and part of the reason they believe is because during the rubber boom, people came in there and enslaved the tribes and forced them to work on rubber farms. And the people that are isolated in the jungles, those are the people that said we're not going to be part of that. And so, as a result of that, or this is what I've heard, as a result of that, then they don't trust anybody and want to kill everybody that comes into their land. So those are a little bit further north of where we're going to be starting our work. The uncontacted tribes, as far as we know, are not hostile. So that's a good thing. Hopefully we can get the tribe that we're reaching out to, we can get a group to go in there with us someday and contact them, work to learn their language, and work to establish a church there. But as far as we know, they're not cannibals or hostile, although there are those tribes that are further up north. Any other questions?
So there are cannibals.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some. I haven't met any, but
Like Joe and Noah. I hope not.
right.
Amen. So when after you land, did you say 2 or 3 days of travel? Is that by boat?
Yeah, by boat and by foot. So,
By foot, yeah.
like if we come to an area where there's rapids, we'll have to stop and cross on the ground for a while to come to the other spot past the rapids because the boats can't get through there. That's what we had to do. So.
And so in these villages, all of them, there's no electricity, no running water, that type of thing?
Some of them do have solar, but it just depends on the tribe that you get to.
Solar.
Yeah, but it would be limited electricity. So the big tribe we went to last time, like they did have running water, but then the power went out because I guess they didn't have enough solar to pump the water, and so we were without power. But I mean, the river's right there. We can filter some water or something like that.
But as far as you know, there's been no gospel preaching in that area.
As far as we know,
Yeah.
at least in most of the tribes that are there. So. Yep.
You mentioned breaking brake line. So in that situation, are y'all carrying like spare parts on a plane, or how difficult is it to, if you're somewhere out way off in these tribes, how are you getting parts or whatever to
Yeah, if
those type of repairs?
If it broke down out in the tribe, then we'd have to just get a boat and travel 3 days back to the town and get the parts, travel back 3 days, try to fix it up ourselves, or get a mechanic out there. Yeah, it's a long process, but so yeah, most of our supplies that we carry is our survival gear, just in case we crash in the jungle, because yeah, we could be stuck there for days or weeks if we crash in the jungle. And it's a small plane. My brother-in-law got a new plane that's a little bit bigger, so that's good. We can carry more supplies. But the one that we were flying, it's so small, then you're limited to how much weight you can carry. So we couldn't bring a lot of tools and that kind of thing. Most of what we brought was just survival gear, just in case we crashed, and then food and some things, games and stuff to play with the kids. And when we do a service out there, most the adults aren't going to come. Maybe 2 or 3 adults are going to come. Most of them are just going to be kids. And so the kids have just loved us coming because we give them candy and things. And it's been a great opportunity, open door to create a friendship there and preach and teach them the Bible. And they're super open to it. So hopefully some of those kids will start getting saved and become discipled. And maybe they'll be the first people that we'll establish a church out there. But
So they are closed off from the things of the world, like, you know, everybody in South America, Central America, Mexico wants to come to America. Are there any of those types of things that happen in those tribes? Do they leave for America?
I haven't heard of it. Yeah.
Because they don't have, I assume they don't have TV and radio.
I guess it depends on the tribe, and it depends. Some of them do have Starlink, and so they can get some TV out there, but it's probably just one per tribe, you know.
Very rare.
Yeah, and it depends on how remote they are. So, yeah, but
How long would it take you to learn Portuguese, do you know? I mean, how long is the language school? Years?
I think they've got a 6-month program and then a year program. So if I can't get in, they might be all full. By the time I raise support, I don't know how many people they allow in at a time.
I see.
If they're full, I'll just go straight to working with my brother-in-law and sister there, and try to learn the language from there. But if they're not full, then I think they have a 6-month program and then a year program. So I'll be doing one of those, Lord willing, and work. Hopefully, it takes about, I guess, a year or two to fully learn the language. But if I can it's similar to Spanish, and I know how to read Spanish for the most part, I guess. So that's a big help. And if I can just read Portuguese, then I can write my sermons down, translate it with my brother-in-law, and then just read them off. So, which is a start.
Yeah,
So.
very good.
Yep.
You said already, how long has your brother-in-law been there?
He's been there about 4 or 5 years now, and his church is about, like on a good Sunday, it'd be about 100, 120 or so. On a normal service, probably about 20 to 30. So, no, these are people from the smaller towns. So this would be the closest town you can get to from the tribal people, or one of them.
The intent would be to like go to these tribes and have like mini church or whatever.
Yeah. I'd like to see several churches. You know, there's 7 different tribes that we have open door to reach. So I'd like to see 7 churches planted there, and then there's 3 other towns that are within like a 2 or 3 hours drive of where my brother-in-law is at. So I'd like to see churches planted in those towns as well. So.
How big are these? Is it like the town that he's in? How big is that?
I want to say maybe about 20 to 30,000, but I'm not 100% sure about that. But it's out to Foresto, so I could Google it up and see.
And you are located, tell us kind of where you are in Brazil, on that Amazon.
So it's not on the Amazon River. It's the river we're going to be doing much of our work is the Minas Pires River. It flows into the Amazon River.
Okay.
So this is south of the Amazon River in Mato Grosso, where 3 states come together. That's where most of our work is going to be as far as the tribal people. And then Alto Foresto, it's in Mato Grosso, and it's about, let's see, I want to say a few hundred miles from the river.
You mentioned
So.
San Paulo. Did you mention San Paulo?
Yep.
Is that where you go to language school?
That's where I'd go to language school.
Yeah,
Yep.
we had, Wade Dotson was down there for a number of years. He's in the States now, but
Gotcha.
I think it's San Paulo where he established the church.
Yeah.
Maybe more than one.
Yeah, it's a big city out there.
Oh, yeah, big.
So, yep.
Get him while you got him.
Any other questions?
We won't see him for a long time.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, they have 2 kids out there. So, 10 and 3. 2 or 3. Okay. I should know right off my head, but it's all right. But but yeah, they're picking up the Portuguese language pretty good. So. Any other questions?
Is farming like a
Yeah, in Alta Foresta, that town where I'm going to be starting the work, then there's a lot of farmers. So that's going to be the main thing. And then, I mean, just in the city area or the town, then there's a lot of different shops and things. So that would be, I guess, their other income.
What's the primary crops?
There's a lot of corn, wheat, cattle. That's big. A lot of cattle out there. And so, as a result, then the beef is real cheap and steaks are affordable, which is cool. So they make some really good steaks out there. Well, hey, if you come to the tribal people, I don't think they understand what spices and flavorings are. It's like they don't put nothing on it. So, I mean, we had turtle and it just tasted straight up mud water. That's what it tasted like.
It didn't taste like chicken.
No, it did not taste like chicken. It tasted like I was eating chunks of mud.
Do they
So.
fish out of the river? Do you eat fish out of the river?
Yeah, fish is going to be mostly what they eat. They do get rice in there. We had some wild pig. They were going to serve us monkey, but we had to fly out because of a storm. And that's another thing, we have to watch out for the storms because it's in the Amazon. And so here you can kind of predict where the storms are going to go, but there they just pop up out of the Amazon rainforest, and so it's harder to predict. So if you got a clear spot to fly out, you better take it while you got a chance, or you might be stuck there for 3 days just because of the storms. So, but yeah, we had alligator. I got sick off that. I don't know. It didn't taste good. Didn't taste like chicken. It just tasted like something tough and
Can you drink the water?
not from a river. No, you have to filter it. So
Has to be filtered, okay.
yeah, but
Why eat boat?
mhm.
How do you get a boat for it?
The tribes, they have boats, and it's a motorboat, so we're not rowing for 3 days. You know?
Hire them to
Yeah, we would hire.
go over down the river?
Yeah, we would hire them to take us.
So medically, is there anything like shots that you have to take, like for malaria and different things that when you go to that particular area? I know when I was in the military, when I went to a particular area, they gave me shots that helped keep me healthy. Do you have to do any of that?
I don't have to do that. That can be beneficial, I guess. A doctor recommended me take a bunch of shots, but I talked to my sister, and she said they have all the medicine that you need if you get malaria or something like that. And so, but my sister did get dengue fever, and that lasted for like I want to say 2 years. So she kind of struggled through that. So there is that risk, but yeah, I'm just planning on taking the medicine that they have if I get something. So.
The tribes, what do they live in, like tents or what type of homes?
It's like not a log cabin, but it's not all. That's something that surprised me. So I thought Brazil is just going to be hot all year round, but they have seasons. And so the last time I went there, it was just almost like fall weather. It was really nice. And then we went into the Amazon jungle, and it's just a lot like the Blue Ridge Mountains.